Hey guys, Bret Gordon here with Trio Martial Arts. I want to make a quick video on firearms. Now, something that a lot of self-defense instructors really kind of neglect is the role that the specific type of firearm plays in a firearm disarm, gun defense, things like that. So for the purposes of this video, we're going to be talking about semi-automatic pistols. Now, for those who aren't aware, a semi-automatic pistol, right, every time you pull the trigger, the slide is going to rack back, it'll eject the empty casing of the round that was just fired, load a new round into the chamber, and you're ready to fire again. And every time you pull the trigger, it'll rack back, the casing will eject, and you can keep firing until the magazine is empty. Now, that action of the slide being able to rack back is what we're going to capitalize for the disarm itself. Now, to demonstrate this, we are going to be using a live firearm. In the interest of safety, we have a magazine block, which stops any ammunition from being loaded into the magazine. And we are using a barrel block, which prevents any rounds from being chambered. Okay, so again, the gun is completely inert. And like I said, we're going to really kind of capitalize on the action of the slide. Like I said, with a semi-automatic firearm, every time you pull that trigger, the slide will rack back, eject the previous casing, and chamber a new round. Now, we're only going to go over the actual physical portion of the technique, right? A lot goes into a successful disarm, understanding the power dynamic, the conversation, which again, that's going to kind of be outside the scope of this video. Right now, we're just focusing on the physical technique. Okay, so we'll start with a gun pointing to the face, and just a simple disarm, right? I step to the outside, make sure I clear the line of fire. One hand's going to go to the gun, one hand's going to go to his wrist. Idea being, he doesn't want me to fight for this gun. He's going to retract. As long as my hand is on his wrist, I can maintain control, right? So again, hands are up. One, maybe we'll throw a kick, snatch it down, right? Tap, rack, on target. Now, the way I grip the gun is what we're going to focus on. Like I said, with a semi-automatic gun, the slide needs to rack back to eject the spent casing. Okay? Understand, the chances of this gun going off, if there is a round chambered, are pretty damn high. So there's nothing I can do to stop that first round from going off. However, when I step and I get a good firm grip on this slide, I can stop the slide from racking back and essentially taking the gun out of battery. We're causing a failure to eject. So what's happening is because the slide can't rack back, the empty casing is not ejected, and the gun is effectively jammed. And then we have to go into like our malfunction clearing in order to make it work again. So the technique itself again, step to the outside, right? I'm going to grip the slide firmly. At the same time, my hand grabs the wrist, push the gun up and away, making sure it's far from my head, right? Maybe we kick, right? Snatch this down. Now, the technique itself works regardless of the size of the firearm, right? So again, so we have here a compact M&P 2.0. Hold that, please.
Yep.
Again, with our mag block and our barrel block, we have an M&P 9 shield, so it's a subcompact, obviously a much smaller barrel, right? It will still work exactly the same way. There's a couple things to consider. When I place my hand on the gun, I want to put the webbing of my hand in the wedge between where the trigger guard meets the frame. So I don't just want to grab the barrel like this, because obviously, like I said, with the smaller gun, you're not going to have any control. You're going to shoot your hand. Like, this is all bad. I want to drive the web of my hand up, like I said, where the trigger guard meets the frame, and then I secure my grip around. What that also does is it makes sure I'm driving the gun up and away. And then again, so we can complete our disarm. So like I said, it really doesn't matter what size of the gun it is, like I said, whether it's a compact, whether it's a full size, whether it's a subcompact. If the technique is done properly, with a semi-automatic pistol, with a firm grip on the slide, you will cause that failure to eject.